Okay, so we've all been told the same thing, right? If you've got money problems, it's just because you lack discipline. You just need to be stronger, more controlled, and poof, you'll be fine. But what if that's just completely wrong?
Now, that statement probably feels a little weird, doesn't it? I mean, it goes against everything we've ever been taught. But here's the thing. The harder you try to lean on discipline with your finances, the faster it's going to break. And yet we're told to just keep pushing through this insane cycle.
First, you tell yourself, okay, I just need to budget harder. Track every single penny, get super aggressive with those spreadsheets.
Then it's, I've got to save more. So you double down, you promise yourself you're going to cut back on everything, say no to all the fun stuff. And when you inevitably slip up, because let's be real, you're human, the only advice you get is to just try again. Do the exact same thing, but with more force this time. It is an absolutely exhausting loop. All right, so let's get into it. Why is this whole approach such a trap? I mean, on the surface, it feels so responsible, doesn't it? So grown up to just rely on your willpower.
You hear this advice everywhere. Just be disciplined, stick to the plan, have more willpower. It all sounds so strong and logical. But here's a question for you. If it actually worked, why are so many people still struggling?
Well, the truth is a little quieter. The real issue here isn't a character flaw. It's not about being weak. The problem is that we're using the totally wrong tool for the job. Look, discipline is a super powerful tool, for sure, just not for this.
So that begs the question, right? What is discipline actually good for? And why is it so wrong for the absolute marathon that is personal finance? Think about it. Discipline is amazing for short, intense bursts that have a clear finish line. Like cramming for a final exam or training for a 5K race. But money isn't a project with an end date. It's a relentless, day in, day out grind of endless decisions and constant low-level pressure. And this analogy just completely nails it. You would never, ever expect your brain to stay in a state of intense focus for 16 hours straight without a single break, right? Of course not. It would completely burn out. And yet that is exactly what we're asking our willpower to do with our money, every single day.
The other big problem is that discipline assumes we're robots. It expects this perfect, stable version of you to show up every time you have to make a choice about money. But you're not stable. None of us are. We're human beings who get tired after a long day at work, who get stressed about the future, who get bored, who get emotional, and just want to order takeout after some bad news. And guess what? Those imperfect moments are exactly when most money decisions happen.
And this leads to the really toxic part of this whole strategy. Because when your willpower inevitably gives out, and it will, what rushes in to take its place? It's not a desire to learn from your mistake, nope. It's a huge wave of guilt and shame. And this just perfectly illustrates the vicious cycle it creates. So you start by relying on discipline. Then you have that inevitable slip-up. Next thing you know, you're drowning in guilt and shame. And what's your reaction? To tighten control even harder, to double down with even stricter rules and more pressure on yourself. All this does is guarantee that the next failure is going to be even bigger, which just feeds the cycle all over again. It's brutal. Okay, so if forcing willpower on the problem isn't the answer, then what is? Well, it's all about a fundamental shift from effort to structure.
This right here is the turning point. If discipline just creates guilt, what actually creates progress? It's not about trying harder, it's about trying smarter. Progress doesn't come from more force, it comes from a completely different approach. And the opposite of discipline isn't laziness, not at all. The opposite of discipline is design. We're talking about creating smart systems that actually work with our human behavior, not against it. Systems that anticipate your fatigue, your stress, your impulses, and basically protect you from yourself. I love this because it's such a powerful reframe. The goal isn't to become stronger, to build some kind of unbreakable willpower shield. No, the goal is to become less exposed. It's about building a life where you don't even have to use that shield half as often. All right, so let's get practical. How does this actually work in the real world? How do we make money quieter in our day-to-day lives? Okay, here are some super concrete examples of what design looks like. First, automate your savings. That means the money is moved to your savings account before you can even think about spending it. Decision made for you. Second, add friction to spending. This is brilliant. Things like deleting your saved credit card info from websites. It just slows down those impulse buys. And third, set smart defaults that protect you on your worst days. Make the easy choice the right choice. So here's the absolute key takeaway.
Your financial life improves not when your discipline magically increases, but when you simply have to make fewer decisions. You're conserving that limited willpower for the moments when it truly, truly matters.
And I really want you to let this one sink in. If discipline keeps failing you with money, it is not a personal flaw. You are not weak. It's a design problem. You've been trying to build a house with a faulty blueprint. It's no wonder it keeps falling down.
So this is your official permission slip to let go of all that guilt. Seriously, stop blaming yourself. Forgive yourself for not being a perfect, flawless robot, and start building a financial system that actually assumes you're human.
And when you make this shift, the result is, well, it's profound. Money stops being this loud, screaming source of stress in your life. It just gets quieter. It gets easier. And that heavy emotional weight it carries, it gets so much lighter.
So I'm going to leave you with a question, a challenge really. What's one system you can build today? It doesn't have to be some massive overhaul of your entire life, just one small thing, one tiny automation, one little piece of friction you can add. What's one thing you can do today to make tomorrow just a little bit easier?